While you were debating whether AI will take your job, AI got off the screen. It walked outside. It learned to drive, fly drones. It can even deliver your burrito. Are you paying attention? All right, 601. Imagine you're the guy sitting at a stoplight. You look to your left and there's a white Jaguar. Got a little funny thing on the top of it, but nobody's in the car. Yeah. Just you. And then the light turns green. You take off and so does it. It's just driving right down the street.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you've seen it. And, then you're driving. You get to the airport. You walk straight through up to the scanner. Nothing in your hand. No ticket, no passport, no ID, no nothing. It scans your face, opens the gate, and you walk right in. Or you get home, you're going for a walk with your wife, and there's a funny little box with wheels on the sidewalk delivering the lunch to somebody. Everything is going crazy. It's like we're not focused on what's happening in the world, but there's a whole lot going on.
So basically, AI got up and walked outside, right?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. All right. This is the Second Half Man Show. We appreciate you watching. Keep in mind, most of these shows are going to be based on the Dispatch, which is our newsletter. That newsletter drops every Sunday. As I said, this is the Second Half Man Show. This show drops every Tuesday. Don't forget that we have all the episodes that we've created since the beginning of the year. They're in our on YouTube and our Second Half Man channel, right? You can get that at the Second Half Man channel. So let's jump right back into this topic. Oh, one more thing. Don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe. Leave us some comments and Russ will get back to you if you leave a comment. All right. So let's get back into this, Russ, because I have said in previous shows, it's going on under the sheets, right? It's going on under the sheets. So
You have.
let's talk about, let's give some information to you. Let's talk about this some more to people who might be watching.
Okay. So what we're talking about is everything that's happening that we're just not really, I don't want to say paying attention to, but really understanding what's going on. So last year, Waymo did over 15 million rides in 2025. And this year, their plan is to do 1 million rides a week. I mean, that is just crazy. And right now they're operating in 10 cities, Miami, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, so California cities, but they plan on rapidly expanding their network all over the place. The examples that I gave in walking into TSA and walking into the airport and walking right through TSA, right now they have the facial recognition at 15 airports, and they're expanding to 65 by this spring. You just walk up, get your face scanned, it matches it against your passport photo, cleared IDs, and that's it. You're in. So it's pretty crazy. And the whole, delivery on the sidewalk thing. So Starship Technologies right now has delivered over 9 million packages autonomously across 7 countries using 2,700 robots. And here in where I live in Miami, they're working, and they have about 100 units going to 2,000 this year alone. So they're delivering Uber Eats and DoorDash. It's pretty amazing, all the stuff that's happening right here in front of us.
I think I saw something in the Dispatch. So you talked about farms here in the United States. It says that they're already using autonomous drones for crop inspection, weed treatment. I guess they're spot weed treatment, where they can actually identify a weed. They go straight down. Boop. They spray for that weed, and they keep going. And those things, from what I read in the Dispatch, it says that they're on a charging station. They go out, they do whatever the work it is they do for, I don't know, however many hours they do it. boom, they come back, they reload, they recharge, and they take off again on their own.
Yep, you got it. Over 30% of large farms worldwide are using these autonomous drones for crop monitoring and spraying. And they have like one operator can manage 3 of these spray drones spontaneously at the same time. So it's exactly like you said. It's happening. It's crazy. Nobody touches them between hand.
I wonder how many people they were using, actual people they were using to do what this damn autonomous drone is doing, right?
I have no clue. I mean, just think about it. One guy, 3 drones handling all of this stuff. And it's not just out in the fields. It's like in our warehouses. Like, look at Amazon. Amazon runs right now over 750,000 robots in its fulfillment centers.
You said robots. That's like, are those robots bumping into each other and everything? Those are humanoid robots?
No, not humanoid robots for the most part. It's, gatherers, pickers, pulling things off the shelf, packing them, putting them into trucks, autonomously. Now, you did ask about humanoid robots. So there are humanoid robots right now working shifts at BMW and Gitzo warehouses. Not in a lab, but on a production floor, actually making things happen, putting things up, putting them down, working 8 to 10 hours, 12 hours at a stretch. Unbelievable.
I think sometimes the assumption is that we're going to see, or at least I guess the way I look at it too, as I keep thinking, okay, one of these days I'm going to wake up and I'm going to see, robots. All of a sudden I didn't see them before. Now they're walking down the street, and boop, delivering the mail and, riding on a bicycle and making delivery.
I think what you're talking about is the trap. It's exactly what I think is not happening in the world and us not really paying attention to what's going on. So the trap is when someone says robots, you picture that humanoid robot with the, like you said, walking around and got the little glowing face, or you see the Terminator, the things that we've seen as robots in the past. And what we're really seeing is look, that Waymo, that's a neural network in a vehicle. It is basically a robot on wheels.
We're riding around in the brain. We're riding around in the brain.
Yeah, that drone flying and doing all that work out in the fields. That's not a toy helicopter. That's real intelligence that sprouted wings can fly around, pinpoint spots that have to be taken care of, make a decision, take care of it, fly itself back to where it's supposed to be when it lands. It's incredible. We're not talking about just robots waiting on robots to take over our jobs. Look around. They're doing it every day. That little box that delivers burritos to your neighbor, how many delivery man jobs did that take? It's happening everywhere. And like you said, AI just got up out of our computer screens, left the data centers, and is working out in the real physical world right now. And I don't think anybody's really paying enough attention to that. Look, I had, a construction business, electrical construction business, and I wasn't not seeing it. I saw all of the changes that were coming, and I pushed for it harder and harder every day. And I went the whole route of saying we need to really absorb and adopt all of these availabilities to us, all of this technology, and I pushed it, really hard. I think that's the biggest problem, is that I pushed it into a company where we just weren't ready for it, and the culture wasn't ready for it. The people that had jobs that we were either cutting into their work or what they thought was their work, people just weren't ready for that. And I think we're facing that more and more on a society at a society level and in every company. And the problem is that we're going to have to figure out how we get from here to there, meaning how we're going to accept and put all this technology to work in our worlds. It's not going to stop. There's nothing that we can do to make sure that doesn't happen, and we just have to figure out how to move forward. And there's only a few ways that you can do that.
So I think sometimes because we don't, as you talked about your example with the technology, it's unfortunate. Maybe you should, if you could have done that 10 years later, you still would have been ahead of the game because, right now it only becomes significant, I think, when it affects you as a person personally, right? That's
Yep.
that's the only time because, and my point to, if you could have done what you were doing later in time, a lot of that stuff might have been more acceptable, right? People would see that it's happening. They would be more acceptable of doing business, however it is that you were trying to move your organization in that direction. So,
Yeah.
but until we get there, right? There's got to be, we've got to be able to offer those people that are watching and following us, right? Something, right? Some kind of solution, so that when it does get to the point that it's going to affect you, you're somewhat prepared, or you're getting things lined up. So what would be, talk to me about some solutions for that. Give me a sovereign solution for that.
Yeah, well, I think the sovereign solution for what we're looking at and what we're talking about today is in my upcoming book, The Second Half Manifesto, How to Stay Dangerous When AI and Society Wants You Obsolete. We're talking about element number 3 of the Sovereign's Code. And element 3 is know your now. Know your now is all about understanding where you're at, knowing, and not just where you're at physically in location, what's going on around you with the awareness, what's happening with the technology, how does that affect me, what does all the stuff that's happening in my environment going on, what's the possible effect for me later on down the road. Without knowing your now, without knowing what you're really facing, you don't have the ability to really make a plan and work through that plan in order to get through what we're going to have to get through. So like true power only exists in the present moment. And, by mastering that, you have the ability to take on anything that comes at you, no matter what the velocity is and the acceleration through what this transformation that we're going through. That's where you got to be. So it's not about instinct. It's not that quiet voice that you have to learn something. It's the evidence is not that subtle. Just look around. You're not living in a bubble. All this stuff is happening, and all of that technology behind all those things that you think are just a convenience, or isn't that cool, or isn't that wow, that has huge implications for what's coming at us down the road. And I think everybody needs to understand that. So concentrate and know your now, and you'll be in a much better place.
So in this element, it's basically not because the other elements do address it, but we're not really looking at what is going to be happening. What we're trying to say is, hey, right now, not to be redundant, but right now, it's a matter of awareness, right? Awareness of where you're at, what's going on, what's happening, and trying to and being prepared to read that. So, in the help and the assistance to know your now. Have we got any kind of exercise? Is there anything we can do? What's the move? What's our next move to help us before we get our hands on that book?
This is an easy one this week. It's gonna be a little fun. Remember when you were a kid driving on a family trip and you played that game like how many red VW bugs can we see or something like that? Yeah, that's
Car
this
bingo.
week's Car bingo.
That's the assignment. That's the assignment.
That's the assignment for this week. But it's not count the red VWs. It's count the robots. All right. For the next 7 days, just pay attention. Look every time you encounter a Waymo or go through something like the TSA at the airport. It could be something simple like you pull into a parking lot with one of those things that reads your tag and charges you, and it's like you park for free, but you really got charged down the road. Every time you encounter one of those, just count it and see how many at the end of the week you count, how many interactions that you count, whether you saw something being delivered on the sidewalk or saw a drone flying in the air that was that was doing something other than just flying around, taking pictures. Well, that's kind of silly, but yeah, that counts too. The GPS that you're driving in the car that altered your route because there was a car accident, thermostat that reacted to the temperature in the room before you ever anything. Just count all those things up and see how involved all of this technology is involved in your day that you are just not recognizing. And that's the first thing you got to do is just know your now. Understand where we're at in this point in time, and we can move on from there.
All right, so our move this week then is basically identification. We're going to go out there and see and count up, right? Count how many robots, how much technologies out there are what we consider to be robots, because now we understand robots aren't just, humanoid robots. There's robots everywhere, and we'll be able to, that'll give us some perspective. So again, this is the Second Half Man Show. We appreciate you watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Please subscribe. Leave us some comments. Do not forget about the fact that we have the Second Half Man Show library. That's on YouTube. You can look that up again at Second Half Man Show. You'll be able to see all the shows that we've dropped since the beginning of the year. Russ, can you tell us a little bit? What else do we have out there?
Be sure to subscribe for the Dispatch. That's our newsletter that comes out every Sunday morning. You can get that, subscribe to that at secondhalfman.com/newsletter, secondhalfman.com/newsletter, or hit the link below. Get that intelligence straight to your inbox.
And so before we close out, Russ, is there one truth you can leave us with?
Yeah. AI didn't announce its arrival in the physical world. It just showed up and started working. The man who sees the pattern has the advantage. The man who doesn't is living inside a revolution he can't name.
So again, I'm 601.
I'm Russ Borden. Stay dangerous.